"You're under arrest. Don't make me ask twice." The officer's voice was sharp, cutting through the cafe's soft chatter like a blade. Conversations halted. A barista froze mid-pour. All eyes turned to the front of the cafe, where a tall, stone-faced officer stood over a seated woman, one hand already reaching for his cuffs. The woman in question, elegantly dressed, blonde and poised, looked up from her laptop with a calm that unnerved him more than defiance ever could. She didn't resist, didn't raise her voice. She simply closed her screen and folded her hands neatly on the table. "May I ask what I'm being charged with?" she asked. "Suspicion of identity theft. Now stand up." The cafe went dead silent. The officer didn't ask for ID, didn't verify the tip he'd been given. He'd received a vague description, blonde woman, black coat, mid-30s, and assumed the worst. He didn't even notice the other woman in the cafe who matched the same description more closely. He cuffed her. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Someone began filming. As he pulled her toward the exit, she calmly said, "You're making a mistake." He scoffed. "Yeah? What, you're going to sue me?" "No," she said coolly, "but internal affairs might want to hear about this. My husband works there." That made him pause, just for a breath. Then he grunted and kept walking. "Everyone says they've got a cousin or a boyfriend on the force. It doesn't work." She nodded. "You're right. But mine does." Outside, she was placed against the patrol car. More cameras were rolling now. One woman shouted, "She didn't do anything." Another asked, "Did you even check her ID?" The officer didn't answer, but the woman, her name was Natalie Pierce, finally looked him dead in the eyes. "I'm giving you one last chance to check my name before this goes too far." He didn't. Instead, he radioed in her capture. That's when she pulled a phone from her coat pocket, still uncuffed thanks to a lapse in procedure, and dialed one number. She held it up to her ear, still calm, while the officer continued barking into his radio like a man on autopilot. "Tom," she said into the phone, "I'm at a cafe on Jefferson and 12th. A patrol officer just arrested me without checking my ID. Can you send someone?" A pause. Then she handed the phone to the officer. "He wants to talk to you." The man took the phone hesitantly, bringing it to his ear. "This is Officer—" He didn't get to finish. Whatever he heard on the other end made his posture change instantly. His face drained of color, his mouth opened slightly like he was about to speak, but couldn't find the words. Then he handed the phone back, turned and unlocked her cuffs with trembling hands. I didn't know," he muttered. Natalie rubbed her wrists slowly, her voice quiet. "You didn't even ask." Within minutes, 2 unmarked black SUVs pulled up. Internal affairs. Cameras now caught everything, officers in suits walking briskly toward the scene, speaking only to Natalie, reviewing the footage on phones handed over by witnesses. The officer who cuffed her was pulled aside, his badge removed on the spot. One of the internal affairs agents turned to the crowd. "If anyone else recorded today's events, we'll collect statements inside." Natalie was ushered back into the cafe, no longer a suspect, now the center of an entirely different investigation. A young man in a hoodie leaned toward her as she passed. "That was insane. Are you okay?" She smiled softly. "I'm fine. But someone else might not be next time." The video went viral by nightfall. Woman wrongfully cuffed in cafe. Cop regrets everything after one call. Millions watched Natalie Pierce remain composed while being unlawfully detained. But what caught people most wasn't the name she dropped. It was the way she held her ground. The next day, her husband, Deputy Director Tom Pierce, released a formal statement. The officer in question had been suspended pending investigation, but it went deeper than that. Natalie stepped forward to speak too. In a press conference, she said, "This isn't about revenge. It's about responsibility. I'm not pressing charges. I'm asking for training, for accountability, for every officer to ask a name before they slap on cuffs." The department implemented immediate retraining protocol, new procedures, real change. And Natalie? She launched a non-profit that week, Ask First, a movement aimed at fighting wrongful detainment with education, technology, and body cam reform. What started in a quiet cafe became a national story. Because the badge isn't just about authority, it's about trust. And sometimes, the person you tried to silence turns out to be the loudest voice in the room. Before we end this story, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know how you feel in the comments.